Good morning, good morning, good morning, loves. It's Motivation Monday with yours truly, Dr. K. Go ahead and do me a huge favor as you come on, like and share, and drop in the chat. Let me know where you are tuning in from. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Tish Mills, good morning, North Carolina. Good morning, Cleveland, Ohio. Hey, Lynn. Good morning, Christy, all the way from Pennsylvania. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you, friends, for tuning in. Again, my name is Dr. K, and I am the proud and humble founder of Freedom by Design. God put this thing into my belly, and it has been a journey, a ride, something that I never expected. I promise you, I thought it was going to be something different. Good morning, love. I see Goldie Love is in the house all the way from Marietta, Georgia. Good morning, Christina Callwood from Marietta, Georgia. Good morning, Dr. Abigail. Good morning, good morning, good morning, family, friends, loved ones. I'm excited this morning because typically I get all like, okay, what am I talking about? What am I talking about? And yesterday, God said, we're going to work this thing out. Good morning, hubby. Good morning, Locust Grove, Georgia in the house. Good morning, Mom, Atlanta in the house. So as you come on, go ahead and do me a huge favor, guys. I want you to go ahead and like and share. And if this is your first time tuning in and you're like, hey, somebody shared this, and I'm trying to figure out who is this lady with this blonde hair? Like, what is she talking about? Again, my name is Dr. K, and this is Freedom by Design. This is God's movement. This is our movement, an opportunity for us to come on in and hear what thus saith the Lord, to hear a fresh download. Sometimes we have guests on the platform, and sometimes it's just Dr. K bringing a word, whatever word that he has given us. So it is not about Dr. K. It is definitely all about him. We come on Mondays for Motivation Monday and Friday for Freedom Friday. So good morning, Shanitha in the house. My sister's in Atlanta today, y'all. Y'all know she's a road runner. Sometimes in Miami, sometimes she's in Atlanta, but she's in Atlanta today. Good morning, Pastor Butler. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So friends, go ahead, like and share for me, like and share. This morning, my topic of conversation is I found him in the valley. Y'all see, I just put in. So I found him in the valley. That's where I found him at, family. That's where I found him at. And, I was getting ready to go to church on yesterday, and me and my husband, we have a tradition. We go to breakfast every Sunday morning. So we usually go to some nice little quaint restaurant. Yesterday, time was not on our side so much. We were moving and shaking. So we went to one of my husband's favorites, went to the Waffle House. It was nice. We had a good time. We always enjoy the fellowship. But afterwards, I was like, well, I think I'll just do church at home, and I'll go ahead and I'll go back and I'll do church at home, baby. And he was like, okay, well, when I finish doing what I'm doing, I'll come back and we'll head out. We'll go see the family XYZ. So I said, okay, that works for me. That's fine. But as I got to the end of my breakfast, I started texting with my sister and my mom and my son on our group chat, trying to see, hey, what's the plan for the day? How are we going to move? What are we doing? And my sister reminded me, she said, well, I thought we were going to go together. I thought we were going to go to church. And I said, okay. So, me and my husband were wrapping up breakfast. And I said, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and go to church. And we start making our plans. And so I said, okay, I went on home, got dressed, and I jumped in my car, which is, what I do all the time. And I listen to a lot of music. I listen to podcasts. I listen to YouTube. I listen to sermons and different things as I'm getting on the road, as I'm driving. Good morning, cousin. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I love you. I love you. And, so I'm driving and I'm listening, and I hear this song that comes on, and it is a song that's so familiar to me. And it's interesting because I was telling my sister, I said, sis, I want you to visit this church with me that I've been going to, through the pandemic and for a while now. So it's been about, I've been visiting with them for the last 2 years. And I said, it makes me feel like home. And home for us is Second Baptist, in Richmond Heights, Florida. So, I'm like, it's so intimate. And, we were joking and talking. And I'm like, even when you do offering, it's not just passing a tray down the road. I'm like, you get up and you walk. Like, you remember when we used to walk? Good morning, Nanette. Good morning. You remember we used to walk in church and, you drop your money in the offering. So we kind of chuckled and laughed about it and went on our way. But then as I was driving, I was listening to this song and it came on. and it was a Lily in the Valley by the VIP Mass Choir. And I was like, oh, and that thing just kind of hit me. It wasn't a lot of traffic on the road. And God said to me, He spoke to me right down in here. And He said, I want you to tell them what you found in the valley, who you found. And I was like, Lord, I found you in the valley. He said, yeah, but sometimes people will see you in your right now and not understand what you've been through. So you got to take them back. And I was like, well, if anybody who has been following and they've been on, they already know. He said, yeah, but I'm going to have somebody new on for you today. And I want you to make sure you back up, and I want you to retract that thing. And he said, even for the person that might have already heard your testimony or a portion of your testimony this morning, I want you to go a little deeper. I want you to go a different way. I want you to present it and share it in a different way. And I said, okay, Lord, which way am I going? And He said, let's go back first to a very familiar scripture and text. And that is, of course, the 23rd Psalm, which simply says, and I know we all know it, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for His name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for Thou art with me. Thy rod and Thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table for me before my in the presence of my enemy. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will forever dwell in the house of the Lord. And I said, okay, God, I understand. And He said, but everybody loves the 23rd Psalm. We recite it because I remember that was one of the first scriptures that I taught my son, and he had, I had him with that little Psalms Bible and made sure when he left and went anywhere, he always had it with him. But, yes, Tish, yes. So he said, well, I want you to look at something a little different. And guys, I know y'all know the 23rd Psalm, but just indulge me on this morning. The 23rd Psalm proclaims that even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for You are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. So I want to stop kind of right there, and I want to pause because sometimes we got these situations where we in these valley seasons. And I say seasons because I want you to understand that it's temporary, just like the seasons that we have. We're in spring now. Soon we'll be in summer. Then we'll go into fall and we'll come back to winter. So in those seasons, there are going to be some times that it doesn't feel good. And family and friends, I had those things. And I had to think, and I was driving and I had my own whole praise worship as I was driving on the expressway headed to my sister's house, about a 35-40-minute drive. And God started talking to me and revealing some stuff all through a song. And I'm listening to this song and I'm like, oh my God, where did I find Him? What did I find? And He was like, I need you to understand, and I need you to tell somebody that no matter where they are, no matter how dark it seems, no matter what it looks like on this side or that side, they don't have to worry because I'm going to be with them. And he was like, Trina, tell them. He was like, and if they don't know, Trina, Dr. K, tell them what you went through. Tell them what it looked like for you. And I said, you know what, Lord, I can't remember. And I can definitely tell them that I found You in my valley. Now, I grew up in the church, and many of us grew up in the church. We attended church. We went to church, but sometimes the church didn't grow up in us. We kind of muffle that thing down. So I thought about it, and He said, remember everything you prayed for? And I said, I remember, Lord. And He said, did you get it? And I said, absolutely, Lord, I got it. I got everything that I asked for. And He said, but was it at the right timing? And I was like, some of the stuff, now that I think about it, no, it wasn't. And He said, walk it down for them so they can understand and know that they can get it too. And I said, okay, Lord. Well, I remember coming out of college, and that was so important for me because I wanted to make sure that I was able to provide. I wanted to make sure, not that just that I was going to be able to provide for myself and later for my son, but I wanted to make sure that I wasn't just working all the time and I couldn't spend time with him and I couldn't do the things I needed to do. I wanted to be happy, and I thought that the money and the stuff was going to make me happy. That's a word for somebody. I thought that the money and stuff was going to make me happy. So I had these goals and I wrote them out. And I said, okay, Lord, you know what? I want to be able to make 6 figures by the time that I'm 40. I want to be able to have my own house by the time that I'm 25. And I want to be able to travel a lot, Lord. I want to be able to do a whole lot of different things. And He said, okay. He gave me the six-figure job by the time I was 35. I got it, y'all. I had it in every headache, every obstacle, and every situation that was going to come with it. I had it, but I still said, okay, God, I got it, and I'm happy, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do a new thing, and I'm going to do it in a different way. Then he said, okay, you wanted to be there for your son. I was able to go to football games. I was able to do this. I was able to take him here, there, and everywhere, but I still was running. And then he said, okay, you know what? You wanted to have your own business? We got it. I got married. We got our own business. We were running. We were doing well, but having a business wasn't enough for me. You know, I wanted to be at the top of the business. I wanted to be a top performer. So I grabbed my husband by the hand. Ladies, that's a word. I grabbed my husband by the hand and I started running. I said, come on, you're going to go with me because this is where we're going because we need a little bit more. Now, remember, he gave me the six figures. My husband was making six figures. So when he brought us together, it was more than enough, but not in my mind. But he said, you know what? I'm going to keep giving it to you. So we promoted. He said, you know what? You want to be there for everybody. You want to be able to help. I'm going to let you help everybody. I said, okay, Lord. I continue to go to church again. I was going to church. I was brought up in the church, so I knew to go to church. I went to breakfast, did what I needed to do, and then I went the rest of my week. I went to breakfast, did what I needed to do, and I went through the rest of my week. But God said, I gave you all of the stuff that you asked for. I allowed you to pull and tow everybody that you needed to pull and tow with you. But it still wasn't enough. It still wasn't enough. And I said, you know what, Lord, I don't know if I want to tell him that. He said, remember, it ain't about you. It's not about you. It's about what I'm asking you to do. And I'm like, but you keep exposing me. Why you keep doing that? He said, because remember, you are going to have to go and help somebody. And it might be more than one somebody. So even if it is, as my sister talked on this morning, Dion, even if it is the one somebody, Ruth, though, that I have to be able to share it with, I got to do it. I can't worry about what it looks like on the outside. I can't worry about what it feels like because you know, and I know he did it. I didn't do it. So he said, I want you to tell him, even though you got all of the stuff, you had it all, you were doing it all, but you weren't in me. You know, I gave it all to you, but you forgot to thank me for it. And sometimes, yeah, I would thank him and say, oh, thank God that I was able to get this. But then I took my money, I took my finances, I took my time, and I started diverting it and doing other things with it. So yeah, I was doing everything for everybody else. I was trying to fix it all for everybody. If you called, I was on it. If you needed me, I was on it. But there were so many things that were being sacrificed in my life. And I was like, oh my God. And all of it came to a halt. So some people say, you know, the pandemic did certain things for them. The pandemic did some stuff for me. The pandemic saved my life. I can't say in a physical perspective, and maybe even in a physical perspective it did, but the pandemic sat me down and allowed me to put the flashlight down, as my sister Bernadette says, and it allowed me to pick up a mirror. Family, it wasn't no compact mirror. It was a big mirror because God sat me down and he allowed me to look and see what needed to be different. He allowed me to go back in the Rolodex of all that he had done. And he showed me for every checklist I gave, I had my checklist and God had his checklist. And he was showing me how he gave, how he did, how he poured, how he continued. And I continued to take. And some of us, you know, we're like, well, I deserve it. You know what? It belongs to me. And God was like, you know what? I've given you so much, but what are you going to give back? To whom are you going to give back? To whom are you going to say, you know what? How about, let me share with you what I've been through, because we're so busy dressing up and putting the makeup on and being cute about it. But God is saying, you know what? This got to look a little different. So I thought about that thing and I said, you know what, Lord? In my valley season, I found a whole lot of things. And I'm going to talk to y'all about what I found. And I'm going to go through it. Amen. Good morning. Good morning, Doc. Good morning. Good morning. You know, when I think about my valley season and I tell God, thank you, because some of the individuals that are on here right now, they were with me. They were walking. They were holding me up in my valley season because sometimes I couldn't even stand up. But I got on Freedom by Design and I was able to bring the word that God had implanted in me. So could you see it necessarily? No, you couldn't. But those people that he had encamped around me, those people that he had around my home, praying for me, around everything that I was doing, those people who went before me and they spoke a word, those people who would send me scripture, and those people who would pray with me and talk with me at a time when I could not even pray. I couldn't utter the words out of my mouth. And I know you're probably saying, Well, what do you mean you couldn't pray? It's just that there were times when I forgot how to pray. And my brothers and my sisters that are on here, they'll tell you that I'm a prayer warrior. And I stand by that. So all the other titles don't matter. I'm a woman of God and I'm a prayer warrior. A sister has a direct line in communication with God. But it got to a point, family, that I couldn't even pray. I didn't know how to get the words out. And that was unheard of for me. And that was a difficult time for me. But God said, Trina, tell them what you found. Tell them what you found. And I said, okay, God, what I found is I was able to do all things through you. I couldn't do it through me. As much as I wanted to, as much as I got dressed, as much as I was strong, I was working out, I was doing this, I was doing that. I thought I was taking care of my body and all of that, but none of that stuff mattered. I still had to go back and go through him. So it wasn't about me and my own strength. And family, I want to tell you this morning, it's not about you and your own strength. So stop trying to get the glory. You stop trying to get the credit. Stop looking for people to give you the accolade, the award, the certificate, and all of that stuff. It's not about you doing it. It's about you doing it through him. So I said, okay, God, I understand that. I could talk him through that. I could share that with him. And then he says, tell him about what Paul talked about in 2 Corinthians 12:9, how my grace is sufficient for you. And in your weakness, that his power is made perfect in our weakness. And he had to break me down. Y'all know a little math, right? He had to break me down to the lowest common denominator. But I tell him, thank you, that he took the time and he did it in such a way that he didn't humiliate me, but he had to humble me. He had to remove some things. He had to shift some things. And if you've ever heard me speak, you know that when it comes time to the gut punching, the gut wrenching, the way that things just really make me stop is through my son, through my husband, and my family. You know, and so when those relationships started being torn and those relationships started being pulled, things started to look a little different. Yes, my hallelujah praise looked a little different because I had to learn to say hallelujah in the midst of madness, or at least what I saw as madness, but God had a plan. God had a whole plan. It looked like it looked like one thing for me, but he was over there rejoicing. So in the middle of me walking through the valley, he was like, don't worry about it. It's a lily in the valley. I'm like, Lord, I can't see it. He was like, keep walking. It's there. I got you. He said, do you feel me? I said, I feel you. Because in the midst of it, I used to have encounters, but now I have a divine connection with him. Could I feel him? Can I feel him right now? I do. Just like I see you texting, typing, and putting on the chat, I can feel him. So I have a different relationship now. And it took some things being stripped away. It took some things being removed. And like I said, he did it in a way that he didn't humiliate me, but he had to humble me. And that's why when people say, well, you know, I'm humbled. Are you really? Are you really? And you got to be careful what you say out of your mouth, because when you have a true encounter with him, it's a humbling experience, and it looks different. That's why we got to be careful how we deal with other people. That's why we got to be careful when people get caught in public doing certain things, how we judge them, because guess what? He judges us. The real judge is him. So we're not judge, jury, and executioner, but how was he with you? Did he give you grace? Wasn't his grace sufficient for you? Didn't he show up and extend mercy to you each and every day? Didn't it look different? So how and who are we to be out here ridiculing, to be out here tearing people down? And then I said, okay, God, let's go to Ephesians 2:8-9. And it says, for it is by grace you have been saved through faith. And this is not from yourselves. It's a gift of God. So I too, family, had to learn it wasn't about me. It didn't matter about all these degrees I got 5. I got really more degrees than a thermometer. None of them matter. Am I using them right now? For the way that God is pouring into me, my husband, and our family and our finances, I would not have even needed a degree for what he is doing. I don't have to, my husband says it all the time, we don't have to do X, Y, and Z. You know, God is working it out, and he truly is. So family, I'm going to tell you, I found some stuff in the valley. I found out that God was the source, and it always has been the source of my sufficiency. That's what I found in the valley. Now, I'm not going to lie and tell you that it wasn't some dark times, that it wasn't some hurtful times, that it wasn't some heavy times, because it was. It was some real heavy times. And it don't matter what it looked like, because, you know, a sister could put on some clothes and still walk and have the appearance of strong. But on the inside, God was turning some stuff, and he was shifting some stuff. So again, that's why I say he was able to break me down. And I'm grateful that he didn't humiliate me, but he definitely humbled me. And he allowed me, yes, he pruned me. Come on, sis. Come on, sis. I was in a pruning phase. Y'all know about it, where we start cutting back the roses and all of the flowers start falling off. You know, you get out there with your knockout roses and your knockdowns and you cut them and you're like, well, dog, the tree don't look so good. Now that's where I was. I was like, Lord, I don't feel so good. I look different, not to everybody else's eyes, but to my own eyes. And he was like, but how you feeling? And I was like, I feel okay, but I don't feel the same. What about my stuff? He said, girl, stop worrying about the stuff. I got you. Stop worrying about who's not coming on Freedom by Design. Stop worrying about who might not buy the book. Stop worrying about who might not show up for the event. Just walk and do what I told you to do, because it's one person. It might be two people. It might be somebody that watched a year from now. So don't worry about that. You just keep moving and doing what I asked you to do. I said, okay, God, it started getting easier as I started going through, because then I said, okay, Lord, what did I find? I got to tell him what I found in this valley. And what I found is I found some joy. Y'all know how the song go, but I truly did find joy in that valley, because guess what? It didn't matter what was going on around me, because I found him. He was right here inside of me. So even when people weren't lining up, and even when people weren't showing up the way that they were supposed to show up, God was right there with me. So I had my joy that nobody could take away. So if nobody came, he still was there. No matter how dark it looked, no matter how many people we buried, no matter how many people were sick, no matter what it did, he was like, I still got you. So I still had that sense of joy. And then it was love that I found, y'all, in the valley. Because guess what? I was that baby. I was that one. I suffered from abandonment issues. And it's a real thing. Some people try to discount it, but I want you to know that a sister did suffer from abandonment issues, and every now and again it tries to rear its head. But God said, I got you and I love you. And I found that joy in my valley, a different kind of love, agape love. It wasn't conditional on what I could do for him. It wasn't conditional on how much I was bringing. It was conditional on me saying, Lord, I accept you, I love you, and I trust you. So I found that love that I had been seeking, the void that was there. It wasn't about nobody else. It was about him being able to provide it to me. And then I found hope, because that's why I always live and say, I walk and live in a prison of expectancy, because I know what God is going to do. I know what he's already done. So I don't have to worry about what it might look like on today. I know the direction that I'm going. And family, one of the things that I love so much that I found in that valley in a real dark time was peace. It was peace, because I truly understand Philippians 4:7, that through him, I can do it all. It's going to work out, that he's going to give it to me, and that he will work that thing out. So it didn't matter if I lost everything. It didn't matter if my bank account was on zero. It didn't matter if money was flowing through my house and not staying in my house. It didn't matter. He says, I got you. I'm going to take care of you. All you have to do is focus on me. Stop looking at what the world is saying. Stop trying to get on the world's checklist. You are okay. It's going to be okay. And family, his peace, a different type of peace. It truly surpasses all understanding. It allows you to sit on the front row in that church when you're burying your uncle who is like your daddy, and you are able to raise your hand up and say, Lord, I trust you. Lord, I thank you that he's not suffering no more. Lord, I thank you that you're bringing our family closer together. Lord, I love you, because that peace looks different. And it makes people say, well, no, they just lost a loved one. How are they shouting and praising? How are they doing that? Because his peace surpasses all understanding. And when you get just a little bit of it, that thing is infectious. It's like the best meal you ever ate. And y'all know I love to eat. You're hungering for it. You're thirsting for it. You're running after it. And it looks different. It feels different. So I tell God, thank you. I tell him, thank you right now. And then, Lord, I got to tell him, Lord, my faith, no longer is it in man, but it's him. I trust him with everything, with everything. It doesn't matter how big or how small. You know, I did a TikTok one time, and it says, if you don't want God involved, don't ask me. Don't ask, because I'm going to bring him up. because I know what he's done for me. I know how he does it for me. In the little itty bitty things, I trust him in it. I have faith that he's working it out. I know today he's already gone before me and worked my day out. I know right now that he's gone before my family and he's covering them. And not just my blood family, not just my biological family, but he's going before me with my friends, those who I love in my heart, who are like my family. I know he's already working it out. I know that everything that I ever thought, desired, wanted, it's already worked out. So I love him for it. Yes, my sister, an intimate relationship, one where I can be sitting in the midst of chaos. I could be sitting in a room where all hell is breaking loose, but I'm sitting there and I'm smiling, and they looking like, well, things are bad. Did you just hear that they selling the company? They doing this and they doing that. Why are you smiling? Because God had already worked this. He already knew about the day. He knew about the day 2,000 years ago. So I'm not worried about this. I know who has all sufficiency. See, when I didn't know, I would be in here talking. I would be in here mad. I would be making a big fuss and doing all of that. But I have faith. I know he got me. So I'm not worried about that. Another thing I found in the valley was real friends, some true friends. Now, y'all know we use that word loosely. And I'm going to say it. And this right here might be the only thing that's for you. You need to find you some real friends. I ain't talking about people who going to talk with you about everybody. I'm talking about people who you don't even have to be on the phone with, and they lifting you up in prayer. People who are sending you text messages saying, you know what, I was just thinking about you today and I'm praying for you and your family. People who are truly going to pray. People who you can have a conversation with and it stays right there and you don't have to worry. People who you could be yourself with, your whole self, the self that he knows. Some real friends. Some true friends. I also found deliverance in that valley. I found forgiveness in that valley. Even when people didn't want to forgive me, I learned you got to forgive them and let it go. And I used to I was real good at holding on to some stuff, but God was like, no. If you want me to do this thing for you, you're going to have to learn how to release. You're going to have to learn how to let go. Even when they talk about you, even when they talking bad about you, even when they mistreat you, even when it's totally unjustified, you're going to have to forgive them and be kind to them. Even when they're not doing right by you, you're going to have to do right by them. You're going to have to follow what I say, not what the world say, not what it looks like. You're going to have to do it the way I have instructed you to do it. Don't worry about what it looks like on the other side. Put these blinders on and walk. And family, I'm not going to tell you it was easy. I'm not going to tell you that it's not something that I struggle with sometimes today, but I'm telling you what I found in my valley. I'm telling you that in my valley, it was dry, it was dark, it was hard, but there definitely were lilies on the path in my valley. There definitely was deliverance. There definitely was healing. There definitely was joy, love, hope, peace, faith, and some real friends in my valley. So I need you to understand, I don't know what you're going through. I don't know how you feel. You know, the other day I was talking to a friend and they were saying how they like, I don't know what to do. I'm lost. And I was like, that's when God gonna show up, because now you ain't trying to do it. Because when I was trying to do it, God was like, well, I'm gonna let you, I'm gonna sit back. And then I'm like, well, Lord, I found you in the middle of it. And he was like, yeah, you found me, but I was never lost. I was the one who was lost. Jesus was never lost. He was there the whole time. He was right by my side. He was on the front of me, around me, and the back of me. He was lifting me up. But I was trying. He was like, well, you know, since you're going to be the star, you got the star and role in this, I'll just be your supporting cast and I'll support you through it. But when you're ready to step back and let me, him, when I was ready to let God be God, that's when my life changed. That's when things started looking different. And it doesn't matter what people say. I had to learn that the hard way, because people are going to try to throw up the old you. They're going to try to throw up what they remember. They're going to try to bring up the past, but that's a weakness in them. You have to understand that. You can't allow that. You got to be in your right now. You can't let them take you back to your past. God, and you have to be able to say, God delivered me from that. I'm sorry that you can't see it, but you know, maybe one day you will, maybe one day you won't, but I have to walk looking forward. I can't walk looking backwards. I don't walk looking backwards. I'm going here. Yeah, I'm an X something, but like I said, Ace, all of us are X something. Everybody has been through something, just like that woman who got caught in the act of adultery. She wasn't caught by herself. And what did he say? Jesus was in the middle of teaching. He didn't even look up at them. He did not even look up. And they were like, what should we do with her? We all know what the law said. He like, okay, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. Everybody want to put you out there and do it when it's in the public limelight. But what about your stuff? That's where we have to put down that flashlight and pick that mirror up. What about your stuff? What did you find in the valley? What have you put down? What have you not picked back up? What are you doing that you should not be doing? In the midst of your valley, when it seems so hard and it's so easy to do the wrong thing, on this morning, on Motivation Monday, I challenge you. Do it his way, even when it's hard. And I can't tell you you're going to go through it for 2 months, 2 weeks. It might be 2 years. It might be 20 years. But I promise you, if you walk with him, if you allow him to guide and order your steps, you will be able to receive and see that peace, that joy, that forgiveness. You'll be able to have it. It'll feel different. You'll still be going through, but the go through looks different. You'll smile through, even in the midst of the pain. You'll smile through. It'll look different. I know I did. And I tell God, thank you each and every day for every part of my journey and it allowing me to be the person who I am today. Family, I love you. I pray that you have a fantastic week. I look forward to seeing you on Freedom Friday. God bless you. Give yourself grace because God gives it to you. But make sure we're walking the way he wants us to walk. Go back and read the 23rd Psalm. Go back and read it and see what you find. I love you and I look forward to seeing you on Friday. Have a phenomenal day. Bye-bye.